So we're less than 2 weeks away from the November 7th elections now, and supporters and opponents of statewide Issue 1 have spent tens of millions of dollars in advertising, much of which we're sure you've seen.
The latest ad against Issue 1 features Governor DeWine and the First Lady. 3 News investigative and political reporter Lynna Lai spoke with the governor one-on-one and balances his claims with insight from a local constitutional law expert.
Last thing we want is government making those decisions for us.
You've probably seen the ads for and against Issue 1, the latest from Governor Mike DeWine and First Lady Fran DeWine.
Issue 1 is just not right for Ohio.
The governor and other opponents claim that Issue 1 would take away parental rights because it uses the word individual and could apply to both adults and children.
It would override the parental consent law now that is on the books in regard to a minor who wants to get an abortion.
Currently, Ohio law requires minors to have parental consent or court permission for an abortion. But backers of Issue 1 insist.
So the amendment will not change parental consent laws, period.
They use the analogy of the Second Amendment, which gives people the right to bear arms, but minors don't have the same rights.
It's of your legal opinion that the constitutional amendment would not supersede current parental consent laws?
That's correct.
So we turn to Case Western constitutional law professor Jonathan Enton, who says courts have long distinguished a difference between the rights of adults and minors.
The U.S. Supreme Court also upheld a number of state laws that look very much like the current Ohio parental consent law.
The second claim,
Issue 1 would allow an abortion at any time during a pregnancy.
The amendment says the state is allowed to prohibit abortion after fetal viability, except when necessary to protect the pregnant patient's life or health. So it would be up to lawmakers to tighten those limits.
How soon can we expect Republicans in the General Assembly to move on passing restrictions, should Issue 1 pass?
Look, I don't think that they will be able to. I think it's very clear from the language of this constitutional amendment that abortion could occur at any point. It says in the language that you could have restrictions after viability, but then it goes on right after that and talks about the health of the mother.
DeWine argues that the word health is too vague.
It can be concern about income. It can be a concern about number of children you already have, any number of things.
That's not a very persuasive argument, it seems to me.
Nevertheless, Enton notes that it's the Ohio Supreme Court that would interpret what health of the mother really means. And the state's high court currently has a conservative majority. Now, according to Medium Buying, which is an ad tracker in Columbus, since September, both sides have spent a total of $22 million in ads on TV, social media, and radio. So tomorrow, we will follow the money. Russ and Christy, we will look into who is financing these campaigns.
All right, that'll be interesting. Lena, thank you so much. By the way, we have a complete guide for you to next month's election. It includes Issues 1 and 2, information on early voting, and polling hours for November 7th. We want to make it as easy as possible for you. Just head over to WKYC.com.